Hello to everybody. I'm starting this live again as I had a poor connection outside, so I just hopped back into the caravan and hopefully this is a better signal. Hopefully this will be quite a quick live update relating to two learning dreams that I had last night, as well as chat to you about September in a way that I have written about and chatted to before in previous years, but it's worth a revisit to the people that do resonate. So please forgive the state of me because I feel half asleep. Okay, so if we take the last 7 days of incoming energies, and when I say incoming energies, I mean these are cosmic energies, that they are energies from very far out, beyond this holographic reality. So not just this solar system and universe, but beyond the physical holographic realities, the energies have been coming in, as well as them being solar. And I think many people might agree that the last 7 days, the energies have been unprecedented. I never go by the scientific instruments. I always go by the sensation and the feelings and the patterns and vibrations that incoming energies generate within us. To me, that is the best gauge, is how is it affecting us, not what the instruments say, because I think I explained last year or the year before that we had this set of X flares at one point, maybe last year or the year before, and you know, they didn't generate the strength of energy that some of the smaller M-class flares generated. And so it really isn't about numbers and figures on music, on scientific instruments. It really is about how does it affect us? How does it affect you? What is it bringing into you? The last 7 days has been unprecedented for sure in terms of the energies. Every single day since Friday the 22nd of August. So 7 days. It's been tremendous. It's been a lot. And what I've realized, because I watch the sky as well as the patterns that get generated within these are vibrational patterns that the energies bring in. What I've noticed in the last few days is the amount of plasma that these energies have also within them. So it's not just about the patterns and the vibrations and the strength. It's about the quantity of plasma that is in these incoming energies. And plasma can destabilize. It can have the effect of destabilizing us. It can create anxiety, physical anxiety within the body. I'm sure it would also create, because it can create physical flux. It's like a flux within the body, which feels physically like anxiety, but physical anxiety, not mental anxiety. And because it creates such a flux, it can, I'm sure, create an increase in nervousness if people are nervous, if they suffer from nerves, if they suffer from stress. It would definitely create a heightened stress within the mind. In terms of plasma, I know people have said, well, what does plasma look like? How can you identify it? And it is everywhere. You can see it everywhere. There's lots of different things that our eyes can see, so I want to be very, very specific in what plasma looks like. The easiest way to see plasma when it's come into this atmosphere is to look at clouds, because clouds are just the easiest way to see it, even though it shines on everything. But if you look at clouds, whether they're white or they're grey clouds, and I'm just looking out now, they have this pearlescent sheen to them. So it's not these, tiny little photons that we can see jumping around, and it's not the cosmic radiation. I'm not a science person, so you would probably have the terminology sorted far more than I do. I don't study science, but there's all sorts of things we can see darting around, and that is not plasma. That's what I'm trying to say. That's other things. Plasma coats everything. So if you look at a cloud, any cloud, plasma is present in the atmosphere when that cloud looks pearlescent. It's shiny all over. There's not one place that it isn't. And it creates more of a blurred image of the cloud itself. So it's like you have this cloud here, and then you have this transparent but pearlescent plasma that is coating it, and yet it's coating everything. And as a result of this coating, the cloud itself actually looks more blurred. It's not like a sharp image of a cloud. That's the easiest way I can describe it. Okay. But plasma creates flux within us, within everything. And so an increase, which we've had pretty much every day, but definitely in the last 3 days, the plasma has increased tremendously. It's been there all the time, and that creates a flux within our cells at cellular and atomic level, which can create all sorts of discomfort, shall we say. So I just send love to everybody, for getting through the last 7 days, because it's been a lot, and you can also feel quite tired. My eyes are half shut at the moment, and so it really is to look after yourselves in the way that's best for you, which might not be the way it's best for somebody else. Okay. That said, about the last 7 days of energies, they really have stirred the pot. I receive data in various ways. One of the ways is through dream time. And when I feel it's highest to share the information I do, the information could be about the collective, it could be personal, it could be, about all sorts of different subjects. I never look for the information, it just always gets given. So the learning dream, one of the learning dreams last night was about incoming energy. I've received many over the years, so again I want to be very clear and very specific so that hopefully I'm not misperceived in any way. What I was shown was analogy, so just metaphor, and I was shown a large brick wall, and the energy, the incoming energy, literally bombarded the wall to create a massive hole in the wall that was at least 1.5 meters in diameter. So the wall itself was only about 3 meters, but in width. But if you can imagine a hole in a wall that's created that's 1.5 meters in diameter, it literally bombarded the wall, and the bricks just pushed out and away, and the energy flooded right in. It was a complete flood of energy. Now, I don't get shown things after the event. I always get shown anything that's going to happen before it happens. So regardless of the last 7 days of incoming energy, this dream is very specific in sharing, giving the awareness that we are going to be bombarded with energies. And that's why I'm coming on, just to make you aware of that. Feels the right thing to do. And of course, the energies affect everybody differently. It's just to have compassion, have awareness that no matter who you're with or who you chat to, everybody will be receiving these energies. So this isn't about the last 7 days. This is about what is imminent, meaning it could be now or within the next 4 weeks, I would say, based on how I receive. But I can't be exact or precise about the time. And this isn't the solar flash, by the way. It's not the event wave. This is simply a massive, massive bombardment of energies that are going to affect everybody between now and the next 4 weeks. Could be today, could be tomorrow. I don't know timing, okay? The second learning dream I had last night. So now we move on to the discernment part of this live. Immediately after that dream about incoming energy, I was shown, and I want to be very subtle and gentle with how I share this, and then just leave it to you to fill in the blanks. Excuse me. But I was shown, and I feel this is all linked to the energies. I was shown just trying to find the most tactful way of putting it. So, since March 2023, for those of you that follow this wall, I have periodically shared to use discernment in what conversations you choose to get into. And I've sort of shared that, because the heightened energies can destabilize and can create imbalance within people, that I shared that there would be this increase in noise, in loudness. And I don't share that as any type of judgment. If you can hear me, you know that I'm just sharing neutrally of words. I'm not judging any of it. And we can easily say that since March 2023, this spiritual arena has got louder. It has got more argumentative and strong in a being's debate, shall we say. So last night's learning dream, following the incoming energy dream, showed me that spiritual debate, so debate within the spiritual arena of awakened beings, is going to get stronger. Excuse me. I was literally shown, say, a person saying, "This is true," and a person saying, "No, that's not true, this is true." But said with coming from the egos, coming from a desire to prove, coming from gaslighting, coming from one-upmanship. You know, it's really hard to try and find the words for this in a tactful way, but at the same time, I'm trying to make you aware that it's going to get noisier in the awakened spaces and arenas. And so when you are aware that that is going to get noisier and more filled with anger, then you have a choice. You have more of a choice. If you have the awareness that that's going to happen, then you have more of a choice to use your discernment and choose whether to enter that yourself or whether to just observe it and leave it be. Just observe it or leave it be. You know, my wall itself, I just share information. I've shared it freely for years and years and years, and it is always neutral information. So because that's where I come from, there's no room on my wall for, you know, any type of argument that is seeking to undermine or seeking to debate in a way that isn't kind or loving. You know, the beauty for everyone to realize is that we're all unique. So every single person on this planet is unique, and they're going to have their own perspective on anything. If you asked one person, is this true? And sorry, if you asked 1,000 people, is this true? You would get 1,000 different perspectives. And so what matters is where your perspective is coming from. Is it coming from balance? Is it another belief system that you've read or heard out there and like the sound of it because that's what your character would like to happen? You know, or is it actually coming from your higher self? Your higher self will always present information in a balanced way. It will never tell you what to do, ever. It's very objective. And so I hope you can hear that this live is very objective. I'm just relaying the information to you so that you can be aware that maybe because of the onslaught of energies that we're going to be getting soon, it might have the effect of destabilizing awakened people, and that might create the result of louder debates, you know, louder putting people down, that kind of thing. Okay, I hope I've explained that well enough. I hope so. It's not, you know, it's not an easy subject to explain. But just remember that if you choose to enter the ring, meaning a boxing ring, a wrestling ring, if you choose yourself to enter the ring, you know, you have to take responsibility for that, and prepare to, perhaps get punched, even if it's just verbally punched. But that's where the responsibility comes in. It's just to be aware, be the observer of any of that to come, and just choose what is highest. Division isn't highest. proving a point isn't highest. It's just the ego. It's just the ego. The path is within us. It doesn't come from anyone outside of us. It's within you. It always has been within you. Always. And just to allow everybody else their way and their style and their timing and their perceptions. When you realize that everyone has their own perception, that's when you can be at peace with knowing that everyone will always come from their own unique perception. There's where the peace is. It's the acceptance that everybody has their own perception. So there's nothing to prove, there's nothing to fight, there's nothing to debate, there's nothing to argue. It's just, you just leave that to the people that want to. It's as easy as that. You just acknowledge that. That's what they wish to do, that's what they're choosing. You can be part of that or not part of that, that's up to you. Okay? But you have the choice. Okay, so just lastly, September, I just felt to include this because it's been coming up for me a lot recently, and I nearly started to write about it, but I thought, no, it takes too long to write things. This is only going to really resonate with people that whether they're awakened or unawakened is irrelevant to this. It really is. But it will resonate only to the people that are walking the path of the true cross. If you don't know what that means, the true cross, look it up, do some research. This is the true cross. It's an equilateral cross. It's not the elongated cross. Another way of describing the true cross is the path of the four directions, or the path of the four winds. You don't need to be Christian to be on the path of the true cross. Native Americans follow the path of the true cross, whether they know it or not. It's about the air and the fire and the water and the earth and the balancing of those four elements to be in tune with that fifth element. It's the balancing of everything. That's the four directions, the four winds, the true cross. It's actually a very, very people, regardless of their religions in the world, many of them may have different religions, but they will still be walking the path of the true cross. It links into the Essenes. It links into the Aramaic ways. And, I don't research, I don't read. I just know because I've, like a goofball that I am, I find out as I go, and I find out from within me. I learn from within me. I get taught from within me. This human, in total forgetfulness, just gets taught piece by piece by piece by the walking of it. And so my path has been the path of the true cross. Okay. Something I've not mentioned before when I've spoken about the path of the true cross is that there are actually two parts to it, and they do work together. It's just that one is more dominant than the other at first, and then it flips, and this second part becomes the dominant part. So I'll explain that now. When you're walking the path of the true cross, it really is the first part is about balancing the self, balancing the earth, the air, the fire and the water within you. You will have come in with some of those elements already balanced, but you'll have come in with some of those elements completely not balanced or not have a clue what those elements even are. Like me, for instance, I didn't know what fire and air was. I had no idea. I just used to run away from it. But I came in with earth and water completely known and balanced. So the first part of that path, it is the path that the Essenes follow. It's predominantly, it's in two sections, and predominantly it's about the earth, it's about the elements to start with. But subtly in the background is the path in heaven, okay? It's just that when we awaken, the first part of that path of the true cross, or the four directions, north, south, east, west, left, right, up, down, it's all linked to the true cross. It's all about balancing ourselves. So the dominant part of the true cross it is going to be earthly, because we awaken, but we're still in our character and we still think we're a human being first and foremost. So the dominance is on the earthly part of the true cross and the four elements, four directions. But the heaven is also occurring simultaneously, but it's much more subtle. But there comes a point where you've completed the earthly part of that walking the true cross, and you walk the heavenly part. And so in your everyday life, heaven becomes the dominant and the earthly becomes the less dominant part within you. It's, in a way, focusing on a different realm, coming from, and you're focusing on a different realm because you're in that realm, albeit not quite self-realized in that realm. I wrote recently about the walk in heaven, inside of heaven, and if you imagined a ladder, there's a whole ladder inside of heaven, okay? I'm just using an analogy as a ladder, but if you imagined a ladder, there's a whole ladder inside of heaven that we walk. So it's not that suddenly somebody becomes in heaven and that's where they are suddenly enlightened. No, there's the steps within heaven. The steps, the stages within heaven before the final embodiment part. And I say final, knowing that everything is unending. There is no finite. But there is a final stage to embodiment for the human being in this physical vessel. There is a final stage where you be from that and you give from that. And so the walking in heaven has these stages to it that eventually lead to the final stage. So it is that the walking of the true cross, if this happens to be your path, which it is for many people all over the world, no matter your country, your religion, your culture, it really does underlie a lot of people's way. It's beyond religions, it's beyond countries, but it is that your focus is, of an everyday basis, is more in the heaven than it is of the earth. And that's why it flips, sort of thing. You're still on the earth, but your focus is in heaven, because that's where your stage is. That's where your stages of the ladder are. So why have I gone into all of that, which I didn't realize I was going to? is because of September and the walking of the true cross, okay, is part of that knowledge that I've gained within me over the years of the true cross, just by observing and just by being taught by myself, inside myself, month by month, year by year, is that all of the months, there is creation in all of the months, the lunar months, that culminate in us receiving our own harvest in September. Now, this has nothing to do with autumn equinox, or, you know, autumn equinox if you're in the northern hemisphere, or spring equinox if you're in the southern hemisphere. Has nothing to do with that, so please let that go. That will only confuse in terms of what I'm sharing with you. Just let that part go. See, what we put into our year from September through to September, you could say that we sow seeds in our months, and those seeds could be the sowing of seeds to help people and support people. Just the sowing of seeds of pieces of information that are going to help ignite people into their own remembrance. It could be that the seeds that you sowed were to give a helping hand to someone, a kindness. Maybe you were there in their hour of need. For many people in their hour of need. It's what you put into your year. And so we sow our own seeds. This is the path of the true cross, is we sow our own seeds, whether we are aware of it or not. Whether we're awakened or not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. We're still sowing our own seeds. And through the months, those seeds then grow, and then they bear fruit, and then the fruit ripens, and then the harvest is given. So what I mean by harvest, it's esoteric. You know, there is a phrase, I don't know the phrase, to be honest with you. You know, it's that we receive back what we give, or something like that. I don't know what the phrase is. But with the harvest, what we have sown in our year, we receive back in September every year. And I've shared this for a number of years, especially since maybe 2019, 2020, going out the tour. You know, that's when I really, really learned about it from within me. Now, this is esoteric, so it's not that somebody gives you something. This is relation to your path, your divine path, and your wish to know Source God that is within you and always has been. It's what you put into your path in your year, that in September you are given back the harvest of, if that makes sense. And it happens every single September, which is why I always go quiet every September, particularly on the 22nd of September. So it's to be aware that if the path of the true cross is your path, if it's not your path, you're not going to resonate with this, you're going to turn this off, you're going to ignore it, etc. But if there is something about your path that resonates with the four elements, you know, earth, wind, fire, water, air, you know, the four directions, north, south, east, west, all of that sort of stuff, it's just ancient knowledge, and that knowledge is within you, whether you know it or not. I don't know any of it except when it opens up within me. And I have literally watched the years and the months and the ripening of the fruits, knowing that we are given to us. It is given unto us. It is given unto us based on what we have given in our last year. And this happens every single September. So it's a massive month of the year. For me, September and December are always the most massive months of the year. If you watch your September, and really, you know, it leads in. So it's you have to watch the whole of September, but it leads in. And for me, it always is known on the 22nd or the 23rd of September. But then you can know a little bit after that, so a week after the 22nd, you can know more about what has been given to you. And what has been given is not material. It's not physical. It's hidden treasures. It's the hidden treasures that can be gifted to you by the divine. So September is a massive month. If you pay attention, you'll find out what's been given to you. And then you just take that information that is just for you, it's just for your path, and it will permeate through October. It will permeate. You won't quite know what to do with it in September, but it will permeate through October, leading to December the 21st. So we've got some massive months ahead of us. Back in June, when I was in Spain, I shared with you, I think in a live, that really I knew that the June solstice was completely linked to the December solstice in a way I can't even describe. I don't have the words for how they are linked this year. They're completely and utterly linked. And the months between June this year, July, August, September, October, November, December, they're completely linked. And I know we could say that is true every year, but it's just this year I can't describe how pertinent it is, how in our faces it is, in terms of the strength and the possibilities within us between that June this year and December 21st. So pay attention to your September. It really is, I suppose, a time to be quiet and inward facing if you want to know what is gifted to you, what that harvest is for you. If we're too outward facing, we're going to not know what's been given to us, because our focus is too much here. in the mind, in the mental, looking outward at things or people. It's by quietening down, paying attention within. It's that inner devotion that you have to your path. And it's the inner devotion that quietens you down. It becomes a thirst that you cannot quench. But you will quench it by quietening down in September. And through that devotion of stillness and peace and quietness within you, you'll get to see what's been given to you, what's been gifted to you by the divine in September, around about the 22nd. I'm sure it'll be different for everybody. Okay, so I'll leave it there. It's a bit longer than I thought. I hope some of that has helped. I hope so, and if not, please, as always, just leave it be. You know, I'm not here to push myself on anyone. I just share for those that resonate, knowing that we're all unique and we all have our own way and our own style, and that there's somebody out there for everybody. So, you know, if my way of expressing and sharing doesn't resonate for you, I know there'll be somebody that does, and that's why I celebrate. That's the beauty of what is happening in the world, in the years that have gone by and the years to come. We're doing this all together. Okay, thank you for listening, and I hope some of that helps. And I just send you love, as always.